Today about motivation, that inner engine that is sustainable and keeps on working in order to help us to achieve our goals. Let's take a look. At this stage, I'm very curious. What are your options? How do you keep yourself motivated when you have a goal which is a long-term goal, which means that you need consistently and with perseverance do certain actions in order to achieve that goal? For me, my own answer to that is a framework of three. I call it me, you, and creativity. So let's take a look via the example into those three options. Step number one, me. And this step looks into you. What do I mean by that? So for example, you are a manager and there comes once a year a time, then you need to write the performance reviews for all of your employees. And it could be many, it can be a few, but very often, usually it's left till the last minute and then it cramps up to be a lot. And I notice from my clients that sometimes it's a little bit difficult to keep on the same level of motivation and the same level of quality and enthusiasm being put into those very important documents. So what do I say in terms of motivation and me? I mean that first of all, if you want to have that energy to be motivated to carry out a particular task, please start from yourself. It's that analogy of when you are in a plane and you are encouraged to put the oxygen mask first on yourself before you help others. And typically, when we have a pressing deadline, this is somehow the first thing that goes out of the window. We forget to take breaks, we forget to do sports, we forget to do anything that would support our strength and help us to feel energized and thus motivated to carry out a particular task. So therefore, my first reflection in terms of a framework of what could help you to be motivated, take a look at yourself. Take a look at how you can support yourself in a difficult time and make it a priority. Because without your energy, the output will reflect that same energy. So if you need to set in a calendar the time for breaks, do it. If you need to eat more nutritious foods with a lot of minerals and vitamins, do it. Support yourself. Or maybe you need to meditate or go to get some fresh air. But the idea is that for you to keep sustainable motivation, you start with yourself. Put that oxygen mask first and don't skip that stage, because that will impact the outcome, and this is probably what you want the least. Whatever firepower you put in, whatever firepower you will get out. Step number two, you. So what do I mean? First step was me, where I focus on my own well-being so that I support myself and I can continue forward. Second part, I support myself via you. In this case, who do I mean you? So perhaps it's a friend, perhaps it's your partner, perhaps it's a coach, or perhaps it's your colleague, all of whom could act as your accountability partner. Somebody with whom you share your struggles and your difficulties, and you feel that sense of support. Keep on going. You're doing great. It will all work out. Or this is the impact of what are you doing on your life. So it's a little bit like a secret fairy, a reminder, a support for you to keep on going. I know it sounds simple, but we do depend on that acknowledgement, on that tap on the shoulder. And it's just enough to remember your own childhood of what it meant to you when it was a little bit tough going and when your parents were encouraging you to continue, because it's gonna be worth it. So second step, find your accountability partner, your friend that will support you in that course of action towards your goal. Third step, creativity. Personally, I think that nothing else kills my motivation more effectively than a routine? Then I default to doing the same things over and over again in the same way. Somehow after a while I don't want to repeat that anymore, and usually I call it a lack of motivation. Somehow my task now becomes deprioritized and goes at the bottom of the list of what I want to do. So my way to fight that is to always ask myself, how can I do the same but in a creative way, in a different way? And this is where I almost come back also to a childhood. I take a piece of paper and I draw, okay, I've been doing it like this. I think this is the most effective way, but let me think what I haven't thought of yet. And I try to see what are the options. It can be also be linked to the step number 2, where you also talk to another person about it. So for example, in that case where you're writing a lot of reports, performance reports for your employees, so of course there is a template that you follow, and that is understandable. But see if you can use different words, research it, make it interesting for yourself. Because of course in the step 1 and 2, you know that this is a very, very important document for somebody else, impacting somebody else's life of your employees. But now it's the question, how do you experience this process more pleasurable, keep on feeling that you are motivated? And my answer is creativity. Find a new approach of how you do things. And therefore just notice how that motivation again arises, because it is that progress that helps us to feel motivated. Even if those are tiny steps of that, I did that differently, but hey, this is an achievement. And therefore you kind of ignite that appetite to continue. So this is the step number 3. Approach the same things in a different way. Infuse them with the creativity. So to sum it up, how do I keep on refueling my own motivation so that I keep on going towards achieving my goal? Number 1, I always check in with myself. Do I have enough energy? Am I feeling well? And what can I do to support that feeling well? Do I need to take breaks? Do I need to take fresh air? Do I need to eat better? Anything that will support my well-being physically, emotionally, and mentally. Second thing, it's you, i.e. your partner, your accountability partner, somebody else that will help you to mirror why is it that you are doing that, that will help you to mirror that motivation, to remind you of it. And third step is creativity. Wherever you do in then achieving your goal, very likely that there is an element of routine, because you think that this is the most effective way of doing things. And I would like to challenge you and offer you this possibility to reignite your motivation by infusing those same options with creativity. Stop for a moment, maybe even take a step back, so that you can reflect of how you can approach it creatively and therefore accelerate your move forward whilst feeling motivated. Thanks.